I said hi.
Yeah. Woo.
Right, let me just get the door for you.
Okay. He got me at the Cheesecake Factory, y'all. I ain't getting out this car. Yes.
Would you want me to open the door for you?
Look.
Are you're recording me?
Yeah. Yeah. This is the Cheesecake Factory. This is the Cheesecake Factory, y'all.
What's the problem with that?
This is a chain restaurant. Who takes someone that looks like this to a chain restaurant?
You want to talk about it? I'm fine with talking about it, even in front of them.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Come on, get up on in the car. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Oh, okay.
So,
yes, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
So you expect a man to go all out on the first date? Is that right?
I mean, you're supposed to. Look at, I mean, when you take out a beautiful woman and you're courting her, because I get courted. So you're courting her, right? You're supposed to take care of her. You're supposed to cover her. You're supposed to protect her, cherish her, treat her well, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I agree.
Not
I
at the
went
Cheesecake
into this
Factory?
date as I expect, with the expectations for myself, to keep you safe, you know, to respect you, to pay for your food, of course, pick you up, of course, and just treat you like a gentleman, which I believe I have done.
I mean, you've been pretty nice, but I mean, Cheesecake Factory.
I, on the other hand, have certain expectations for a girl I go out with on the first date. I expect her to be respectful too. I expect her to be cooperative, and at least, you know.
What did I do that wasn't cooperative?
Well, I mean, like, even like when we were walking to the car, you wouldn't put your hand around my arm or anything like that, or hold my hand or anything like that.
I mean, it's too early for that.
Okay,
I don't know
and
you.
I can respect that. I can respect that. When I got to your apartment to pick you up, you didn't want to invite me in. I can respect that too. We're not
Again.
like,
I don't
we're not
know
there
yet.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
And then, but
I mean, I feel like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do as a woman.
But
I got myself all made
There's nothing
up.
wrong with the Cheesecake Factory, right?
Yes, there's a lot wrong with the Cheesecake Factory.
Okay. Well, look at my planner where we were gonna go originally.
See, now that's where we should have went. All right, right there. Call him.
No.
What do you mean no?
See, I specifically told you both yesterday and this morning that I'd come to pick you up at 4 p.m. Right? And I got to your place at 4 p.m. You didn't even come downstairs for another hour, and so I was waiting downstairs for an hour. Right?
But I wasn't expecting for work to take me so long. I got home a little late, and like I said, I don't know you well enough to invite you up into my apartment, and that is not possible.
And that's why I'm thinking, okay, if we're not there in the relationship to, you know, meet at your apartment, then maybe we're not ready in a relationship for such a nice fancy restaurant as Aria, especially if I'm paying for the whole thing, which I'm still willing to do. I would have been, but if we're late, I told you twice.
Late. It wasn't that late.
We literally left your place at the time the reservation was supposed to be. And I specifically said 4 because maybe we could get there early and even have some time to get to know each other on the way there and while we're in the parking lot.
I mean,
waiting for a reservation.
We can still get to know each other. Isn't there another restaurant you can call that, like, you know, equivalent to that? I mean,
I literally
you don't understand. Look at me. I cannot go in the Cheesecake Factory.
There's nothing wrong with
I will die. That's embarrassing.
Listen, as I said, I have very specific certain expectations for that. I can tell it's not gonna be there. And maybe we're not right for each other. So respectfully, I'm gonna just drop you off at home.
Oh no, he didn't.
Yeah, I love.
So you just want to call it a night? I mean, isn't there some kind of compromise or something? Ladies, can you believe this?
I'm sorry, y'all.
But
if I don't feel respected, I'm not gonna go through with the rest of the day.
Well, I mean, you are serious. You really need me.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't want this place anyway, right?
I mean, I understand that I was late. I understand that. I understand that I could have been a bit more cooperative. You made some good points. That's why I'm willing to compromise. Are you sure you want to go home?
I don't have a lot of rules. I don't have a lot of expectations for a first date, but I've already set them, and you've broken every one.
Oh
So
my God.
I'm sorry. We're dropping you off home.
All right, whatever. Well, I mean, I guess I understand. You got to do what you got to do. Well, I'm sorry. I understand where you're coming from.
So, now here we are, a few weeks later. I'm sure you've had some time to think about what you guys discussed in the car. I'm sure you've had some time to think about it.
Yeah.
Before I ask you any questions, have you guys had a second date?
No.
No.
And they never will. All right. Hey guys, welcome to Little Black Bert 91. We're giving you guys a live talking about this skit. It was a skit. It did come out that these guys were actors, and this wasn't real as well. And there are some key things that you kind of notice that you know that it's not real. Some of the language, purposeful language, for instance, cooperative. You rarely use that in real language, right? So the word cooperative is actually something that Red Pill and Manosphere actually use quite a bit when they're describing women. Also as well, I mean, just I think in general, this skit is to highlight something that happens in relationships, right? Or something that happens in the dating phase. But the one thing I didn't like about it is that it further enhances the rhetoric between black men and black women. And I say that because even though he's not black, it goes on to this whole rhetoric within at least the internet space of interracial dating and how black women are dating outwardly, and then they're being disrespectful. See that they see that, and this is what happens. What happens? It opens it up to see black women. We know that they only care about themselves. They don't. The modern black women, they're disrespectful. They don't care about nobody else. They're rude. They got attitude. It just opens it up to this whole fight again of gender war. This is why I didn't really like the skit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that these things don't happen. I'm just saying that I just know that it's contributing towards the gender war. Someone said in the chat that he knows the person's mutually and it's not a skit. Okay, well, skit or no skit, it makes no difference. We're gonna break it down from a real particular space. And we're gonna give you some dating advice around this as well. I wanna be able to have a real conversation to help some people as well going forward in dating, because most of us in this chat will probably say that will never be me. I'll never be that guy, and I'll never be the woman. And fantastic, great. But there's a lot of people who would be the guy, a lot of people who would be the woman, right? And sometimes you don't realize you are the woman, and sometimes you don't realize you are the man, okay? And so we're gonna have a real conversation. And second of all, it was way too calm for me. You go and disrespect me and record me, I'd have told you to take that phone, turn it off, and you can walk from here, because the disrespect is too much. You understand? Yeah, I'm a bit petty like that, but okay, I probably wouldn't say I probably wouldn't say walk from here. That's a bit too much for me. My conscience wouldn't allow me, but it would be a little bit too much, right? But anyway, so real conversation. Let's talk about obviously dating. Let's talk about obviously as well why I believe that women disrespect men in the dating phase. Why do women disrespect men in the dating phase? I want to be able to help both men and women, because it's on both sides that there's a problem here. It's not just a woman disrespecting a man, but it's also the man also being in a place where he's going to be disrespected. How do we get here? And there's problems on both sides I want to expose, and then we're going to break down the video that they went on an interview, because there's some really good information in there that can actually help some people going forward. So before we do anything else, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notifications of the uploads. As always, we're trying to get to 100k subscribers. We love for you guys to support us, get behind us, also help us grow our community as well. We had a membership live yesterday, and it was crazy. It was amazing. We enjoyed ourselves, you know, we definitely love having you guys around and being able to have good conversations with our community as well. All right, so we're gonna have some real conversation in the coming months and weeks, and so we'd love to have you guys involved. All right, so make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Also, don't forget we have some great merchandise as well. You guys, I'm not wearing it today because I'm wearing a shirt, but we have one of these lovely Mineral Gang hats. We'll keep you warm during the winter time. I told you winter's coming quick. Y'all were playing with me. Winter time is coming quick, especially in the UK. We are freezing already. Well, I got 11 degrees. I don't want to play with it, man. The weather's coming in too quickly for my liking. So make sure you grab your hat, your hoodies, your jackets, all on our website, our fashion website, and grab yourself a bunch of the merchandise as well. We really do appreciate you guys. And finally, if you haven't done so, join a Patreon. If you love talking about TV shows, reality TV, there's a community there that talk about those TV shows. Trey Mack will tell you he loves talking about his sisters and Fatima, and some of the other shows out there as well. So you can get behind that going forward today. 60 degrees in ATL. That is crazy. That is crazy. When I was there, it was in the high 90s. So you can tell the weather's changed. All right, cool. Let's get into conversation. Grace Mercy said, I need to get that hat. Listen, baby, go and grab that hat, baby. Go and grab that hat. Let's get into some conversation. I want to break down this question first, and then I'm going to get into the actual video, and I'll break it down for you guys, okay? All right? So the question we're asking right now is, why is it that women will disrespect men in a dating phase? So many men who cry, who moan, who feel like there are women out there, quote unquote, the modern woman, you know, they don't respect men. So I'm going to ask that first question. Why is it that women, quote unquote, the modern woman, disrespects a man? Let me first break that first down, right? And I'm going to give two perspectives, from the man and from the woman. I'm going to start with the woman first and foremost. Number one, the first reason why a woman will disrespect a man is simply this. She has a broken idea of what a man actually is. There is a broken ideology, broken picture. There's a broken videotape of what she sees a man is to be. Okay, all right? So how she sees that man is because of what she has encountered through relationships with men in general, right? So oftentimes it's coming from the past, right? Your childhood. I always talk about that, right? Either your father or your brothers or your cousins, your first interactions with men have taught you about how men are to you. And that disrespect, the word respect actually means a deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. Disrespect creeps in when that admiration turns to dislike, hate, indifference, pain, hurt. When you have that particular feeling, that deep-seated feeling towards a gender, it is because your early encounterings of that gender have been one that have been disrespectful, painful, hurtful, and have been things that have encouraged your bitterness and your pain, right? So when you see that disrespect from a woman to a man, the first thing you have to ask the question is, what was their idea of what a man is? I mean, what was their picture that they saw of a man? What was their experience of a man, right? Okay, all right. And that could also mean that there was, and my point number two is, there can also be absenteeism, which means there's a gap left in what an idea of a man is, and it is filled in by a mother or by society. Similar to what men do, right? When they're looking for a filling in. When there's absenteeism, both emotionally and mentally, when there is absenteeism in terms of father role, all right, or male masculine energy in that child's life, and that woman's life, right? There will be a narrative that will be filled either by the mother or filled in by society. And at that point, especially when it's by society, you are left at the mercy of what they encounter in their environment. So whether they've dated people previously, okay, whether they were a young girl and they were unwanted by the boys in the playground, whether it was in your area that the boys would mistreat you and bully you, whatever it was, the narrative has been filled by someone else because of absenteeism from a father role, right? And so the disrespect now kicks in, okay, right? Because they have they have an idea of a man which coming from a place of pain, right? So that narrative gets filled in, okay? Number three, and it kind of ties in number 1 and 2, is that the person is hurt, they have hate, they have bitterness, and they're unforgiving of someone else who isn't you. Okay? All right? There is hurt, there is pain, and there is bitterness, and there is unforgiveness, which has nothing to do with you. Okay? All right? So in that instance, that person who's disrespecting you, it's not always about you. It's about what you represent. Me as a man, and maybe I look familiar, maybe I smell familiar, maybe I walk familiar, maybe I talk familiar to something else that resonates to the past, that brings up and evokes past memories and past pains, and those hurts, that bitterness, that hate, that unforgiveness suddenly rises to the top and begins to react to me and a past idea rather than actually the present me, right? Number 4, delusion, arrogance, pride, fear. They believe they're above you. I'll say it again. Delusion, arrogance, pride, fear. They believe they're above you, and they believe they're better than you. And for that case, they're going to mistreat you, right? They think they're better than you. They think they deserve better than you. They think they are better than you. They're going to mistreat you because of pride, fear, jealousy, even envy, arrogance. They will end up mistreating you because they believe they're above you. Okay? Right? So that's also another point that also happens as to why they will end up mistreating a man and disrespecting him. Right? And the final point on this is, simply put, they're not attracted to you. That'll do it. I'm telling you, that'll do it. They're not attracted to you. And that's not my second to final point. Apologies. Second to final point is they're not attracted to you. They're not attracted to you. So in some unfortunate sense, your value in their eyes is lowered. And because of character issues that they have within themselves, they're going to mistreat you. Now, we all can be in a place like that, right? We can all be in a place like where you don't value the thing in front of you because you haven't placed value in it. And attraction is a part of value. We value people based on our attraction to them, whether it's introspectively or whether it means physically. Like interpersonally, I may like you, all right? And externally, I might like you. Therefore, I'm attracted to you. I may be interpersonally attracted to you, but not externally attracted to you. But where does that woman place her value in what she values? Does she place it in the internal or the external? Now, most of us place it in both. Let's not lie to ourselves. So that woman can see you and be not attracted to you and believe your value is lower than hers, which goes back to my previous point, and end up mistreating you as such. In some way, what she's doing is reducing you to the value that she believes that you actually are. And so she mistreats you. And this is what we saw in this video. In this video, the amount of disrespect is bred from childhood, but also is bred from the fact that the person believes they are better than you. Okay? Much better than you. Okay? Yeah? And the final point is this. For the women's side. The reason why women will be disrespectful to a man in a dating phase is because they sense weakness in you. Yeah, let's call a spade a spade. Some of you are weak. Some of you are weak, and they smell blood and they take over. Some of you men are weak. They smell it and they go for blood. Yeah? And I'm going to explain what weakness actually is. Because weakness isn't about physical strength. It's about the mentality and the mindset. It's not about the physical strength, although that can play a part in it. But it is about the mentality and what you do. Because I've seen on reality dating shows, I think it was on F-Boy Island, I've seen grown-ass henchmen, Love Island 2, who women take advantage of, because it's not about your physical strength. Is this. A woman knows that if you're much bigger than her, she can't fight you. She isn't trying to kill you that way. No, she's going to take over your mind, right? So if she senses the weakness, she's going to take over, right? So now let me come to the men and speak about, from their perspective, what they're doing as to why they're encountering disrespect. Okay? All right? Let me explain some of those things, right? Low self-worth, low esteem. Low self-worth and low esteem. Okay? Yesterday I spoke about this in the video with when we were talking about Samantha Lee, and I spoke about the wounded male or the wounded woman. Oftentimes, the man that gets disrespected is the wounded male and the wounded woman, who shows that they are easy to be taken advantage of. Right? That wounded male, okay, is on the battlefield wounded. The enemy sees the wounded prey with a lack of self-worth and a lack of confidence, and lack of self-worth and a lack of esteem for themselves and how they value themselves. You depreciate yourself. They sense that and they take advantage of. Let me give an example. Like, for instance, you might say, oh, I don't know why you're even with me. Well, when you say that, what you're really saying is, I don't see my worth on your level. Therefore, I believe I'm lower than you. At that point, she senses weakness, because why are you telling me you're below me? You know what I'm saying to you? Why are you telling me that you are below me? And you see, this goes back to Bible, because in Genesis 3, it talks about how the man and the woman, their punishment is that the woman will try to overtake the man, basically try to manipulate, overtake, control. But the man will rule thee, right? The Bible says the man will end up ruling thee. You'll pine after your husband. You'll run after him. You'll desire him. You'll want him. You'll submit to him in some sense, right? But he will rule over you. And what that means is that the woman will seek opportunity to take advantage. And will you present the opportunity to take advantage? Now, this does not mean you need a firm hand, in an aggressive manner. What it means is you must learn how to be assertive in your leadership. And one of the ways that disrupts assertive leadership is a lack of esteem and self-worth. How do you view yourself? That will always start the issues with you. That's number one. Okay? That's number one. Number two, okay? You have a problem when it comes to boundaries. You're a yes man. Okay? All right? You're a yes man. And a yes man is a yes man that will get taken advantage of. Okay? All right? A yes man will get taken advantage of. Okay? And so when you're always in a place of saying yes, it's not real. Nobody ever says yes to everything. You don't agree with everything. Right? You don't agree to everything. You don't believe everything. But you are saying yes to everything, and it's fake. And it's manipulative almost, and it's a nice guy routine, because you're hoping by saying yes to everything, people-pleasing style, she will give you what you want. And that's a couple points in one, really. That's really a couple points in one, that you are a people-pleaser. There's some aspect of manipulation of you being this nice guy, because it ain't real, right? And you using yes every single thing to her because you're afraid. That's another point even. That's number 3 or 4. But you're afraid that if you don't say yes, she gonna leave you. You're now succumbing to her, being a slave of hers, rather than actually being somebody who is a leader in the relationship. The women don't like yes men, because they then realize that they can control you. And they don't feel safe. Look, a child never wants a parent to say yes to every whim of theirs. Because if they say yes to everything, then that parent isn't in control. The child is. And the child wants boundaries. And the same thing happens in relationship. I'm not saying women are children, by the way. I'm saying that the same measure is when, in a sense of how we look at dynamics between men and women, a woman asking a man something and he always says yes, to the detriment of himself as well. It's not attractive. It's not attractive. It's not attractive. Because you can't protect her. And sometimes that protection even means from herself. Right? that means that protection too sometimes is from herself. And so she wants you to say no. Because then it looks like, okay, so he has a backbone, you know? Because if she can take advantage of you, what she believes is that you'll be taken advantage of by people outside. Therefore, how can you protect her? Right? You see, a woman is trying to test the foundation of what kind of strength you have, because she needs to know that if it's me and you against the world, you're going to be able to withstand what's coming against the world. You need to withstand what's coming from the world. So what she does is she tries to, what we call, the Bible says, reproof, right? It's almost you're trying to test, test the foundation. Are you strong? You know, are you firm? You know what I mean? Do you have boundaries? I've got to make sure like you're good, because when it starts coming from outside to in, I need to know that I can stand behind you and I know you got me. But if you're saying yes to me on every single thing, then guarantee how she's thinking is that you'll be outside saying yes to everybody else too. That's not safe. That's not safe. So she's going to end up what? Taking advantage of you, because she has no what? Respect for you. Right? She has no respect for you. Because she now feels unsafe. Now, she might not put it in those exact words, but because of her feeling unsafe, she's actually fighting. She's actually fighting now because she feels unsafe. And now she's having to protect herself. So actually, in some sense, you put her in a difficult position by being a yes man. Boundaries are so important for not only her, but for you too. You need them. Principles. Okay? That's next point is this. Number 3, you don't honor your principles, which goes back to number 2, which is boundaries. Number 3, you don't honor your own principles. Principles are very important, because once you have principles, you have routine. If you have routine, there's some level of consistency, right? There's some level of consistency. What does that mean for you? It means that when you have a principle, she now knows she can trust that this is the kind of man that does X, Y, and Z. See, you can have your moments of randomness. You can have aspects of your behavior that are mysterious, but there needs to be a consistent pattern of behavior. Principles are one of those patterns of behavior. For instance, she knows that, hey, I'm not a person that raises my voice. That's a principle I run with. She gonna test it though. If he really means what he says, he gonna test it to see, is he a man of his principle? Is he a man of his word? Right? So now they're gonna be like, okay, there's an argument that happens, right? Now, she may not necessarily be consciously thinking it, that she wants to do it. I think it's more innate, but hey ho, whichever way you want to look at it, she pushes 1 or 2 boundaries, 1 or 2 buttons to see that, does he flip out? Is he going to wild out? Is he going to scream and shout? He just told me that he don't shout. He's a person that's principled. And suddenly, after the first argument, you're in the stratosphere. You're shooting, tow. By the way, ladies, if you know that he said that's his principle and he can't do it first time round, you need to be running too. You don't need to be in that place either. But again, I want to say it once more, right? A principled individual person is showing you they have consistency, and this is what they're going to be like. Because as a human being, we want to trust that your behavior is consistent, because I can trust that because it's going to continue over a period of time. I can't trust people's behavior that's up and down. So what she's testing is to see, is that person going to be consistent? And if your principles, you keep breaking them for her, she now knows that you're not a disciplined individual person. And because of what is it that she did that made you want to break all your principles? If you will break your principles for her, you'll break it for another woman. And I'm not saying women are insecure, but what I am going to say is women do understand something, a principle here, which is that if he's willing to break his principles for me, and I'm not talking about a one-time off thing where, but if you're willing to break your principles for me, right? Why wouldn't you break it for another woman? Because women understand the power that they have. She knows the ability she has to influence you. She knows she has the ability to persuade you. In quote unquote, i.e., maybe manipulate you, if you want to call it that, right? She knows she has the ability to sway you, right? She knows that. Okay? But what she doesn't want to know is that if she can do it, then so can someone else. right? If she can pull you off your step of your principles, that means someone else who is as fine as she is, as funny as she is, as clever as she is, can also pull you from that state. It's not safe. Principles are important. She needs you to be in that place where you're not principled. And when you're not principled, you get disrespected. Because now she's acting out of fear, and she's acting out of a place of I can't respect him. Because he's not gonna keep me safe. Sometimes the best form of defense is attack. Right? So unfortunately what happens is the disrespect kicks in because the best form of defense, protecting myself, is now attack. Right? And I'm talking about in the dating phase, by the way. We're in a dating phase. We're dating. Maybe you've been dating 1 year or 2 years, whatever you want to call it, right? Relationship, you can call it that. But those principles are so important. Very important. Right? Okay. The next part is also, let me get my points up because I done missed it, baby. Okay, cool. The next part also is your lack of confidence, which I kind of expressed in self-esteem and self-worth, but your lack of confidence. Some of you, your confidence is in the bin. You get into a relationship and your insecurities begin to show. Right? Some of you, your insecurities start from the very beginning. You know? You're unsure of yourself. You're unsure of who you are, and you lack confidence when you talk to her. Your lip is trembling every time you talk to her. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about, look, listen. I get it. The first initial conversation, it's not always easy. Let's be honest. But after 1 or 2 conversations, my guy, you can't even look at the girl straight. Yeah, they're gonna think that you're not confident. And that is an open door of weakness, again, once more, that can be exploited and used against you. Okay? All right? My friend, gain some confidence. Okay? Trust in your own abilities and trust in who you are and trust that you are of someone of worth and quality. You know? Have some confidence about you, Cap. Have some confidence about you. Okay, all right. And so those are my points for the men as to why they end up being disrespected in the dating phase. Now, of course, that doesn't include things like you cheating, you being disrespectful yourself, you being in situations that are gonna cause her to feel some type of way. Those are other things, but I'm talking about just general principles, right? Those things are gonna cause a person to feel like they're gonna be disrespected by you in a dating phase. I want to talk about another thing, right? Body language is really key. I want you to just look at this clip. I want you to look at body language here. Yeah? Look at this man's body language. Is it inspiring or is it inspiring? Look at his body language. Ladies, tell me what you gather from this man looking at his body language. Because I know what I gather. I don't know what I gather from her body language. Tell me what you gather from his body language. Because I have an idea of what I have in my head as to what kind of body language he's giving me and what he's actually emitting as information to someone. Right? We know it's a skit, just call me Bond. We know it's a skit. We're using the skit as a way to talk about real things. Absolutely. It's given insecure. He's slumped over. Okay, all right. I know it's a skit already, guys, but it doesn't make a difference. We're talking real some stuff here. No confidence, shrinkage, absolutely, right? And people need to start paying attention, lack of assertion, to body language, right? Body language. It says tech industry. You know, Elson said he's not confident, but he's rigid. I hear that. I like that. Right? So we have 2 types of body language here, and body language is quintessential. Because when I want to do a video, I do have to show some level of body language that's going to replicate or at least emanate what I'm trying to talk about. If I'm here, I'm very chilled. I'm talking, I'm very chilled. This is what I'm trying to do. If I'm here, I'm trying to be a bit more assertive. I'm trying to have a conversation, but I'm trying to say, I'm in control of conversation, right? If somebody's like this, either my back is hurting, or I got a stiff back, or I got no, what's going on here? Why am I arching over like this? Why is my body so in like this that I might, you know what I mean? It's uncomfortable to even look at. It's uncomfortable to be in, right? And a lot of that is actually about your posture mentally, not just about your posture in terms of physical, right? Do you see what I'm saying to you? So this is why when you see someone like Andrew Tate, I don't like the thing that he does. Like that's for me, that's a little Illuminati stuff. Anyway, but if you notice Andrew Tate, what he does, he's winning the battle before he's even started a conversation, right? Now, if you're somebody who studies psychology, you can call him out. You know what I mean? You can call out Andrew Tate because you can tell that, you know what, he has got confidence, but some of the stuff he talks about is absolutely doo-doo and dogpile of crap. So, but what he does is, first of all, he starts off mentally to win the war. When he's talking, when he's sitting, you watch how he talks. Very much like this, puts his hand together, he's putting on a power pose. And what he's trying to initiate to you is make you understand, I'm in control. Right? Okay? There are poses that we put on that speak to people and say, oh, this is a person of stature. Or this person is confident, or, this person is, got something about them. Okay? Just by the way they're talking, the way they're sitting. All of that plays a role into it, and actually plays a role into why you get disrespected too. Okay. That's very true. Poker face indeedy, baby. You already know. You already know. All right, so we're going to break this video down now. I'm going to bring it to you. This conversation is really powerful because there's going to be some real conversation that's going to happen now, and I'm going to break it down for you guys as well. Let's get into it.
No second dates.
Not yet.
Okay. So I'll start with you, Jay. What has dating been like for you since that video went viral?
Since I was on the video, kind of unexpected, I might not have put my best foot forward, and so I feel like, I've not really met anyone since who I've really gotten to get to know like that, because a lot of women, they might have seen the video or might have heard from it, or maybe a friend of them has seen the video and shares it with them. And so they kind of had this image of me based on the video.
Absolutely.
And you know what the image is? You're weak. You know what the image is? You're weak. That's the image. All right? The image is you're weak. That's the image that's been portrayed to other women. Other women have seen how... Look, I went into the comment section of that video. It has over, I think, 1,000 comments or 800 comments. I saw so many women going, he's such a nice guy. He's so nice. He's I can't wait to see who's going to date. Do you know why no one's in your DMs, bro? And of course, it's a skit, so we're going to take it on board. Of course, it's a skit. We know that already. So, in fact, you're right. Let me put it on the screen because we tired of people saying it's a skit. We know it's a skit, okay? But the reason why the ladies not coming to your DMs is because they sense weakness. And as much as they're saying, oh, you're nice, they don't want weakness, okay? It's unappealing and it's unattractive. They also don't want none of that weakness. All right? They don't want none of it. So it's unattractive to them. That's why they're not entering your DMs. That's why the date hasn't changed. Okay? All right? That's why. Okay? So in reality, with this situation, we can see that from his body language, from the way he was treated in the video, other women are watching and going, do you know what? That ain't even attracted to me. That ain't even attracted to me. You know what I mean? That ain't even attracted to me. So now when you look at the situation and you look at the conversation, going back to what I said earlier on about why people get disrespected, they get disrespected because, once more again, one of the most important things that that increases attraction is a man who's assertive in his position. And assertive does not mean dominance. It means that you personally, okay, are confident in being able to assert your yes, your no's, what you like, what you don't like. Right? You're able to assert that. You're able to you're able to say, I stand on my square. These are my principles. I'm gonna be it. Right? Now, personally, I would have never sat and had a conversation in the camera when you put a camera in my face. Right? You put a camera in my face, I would have told you to just put the camera down. Like, I'm not going to have a conversation with you while you're disrespecting me and sit in front of a camera to explain myself in front of your crew. Right? So for me personally, there was still disrespect even in that, because there should have never been a conversation on camera. There should never be a conversation on camera. That's still disrespectful. You see what I'm saying to you? Right? I know he stood on his square and he let her know politely, Wagwan, but even that polite let you know, you're still getting bodied. Right? You're still getting bodied. So you're getting bodied because you should have never had a conversation on camera. This should have never been recorded. As soon as she started, you should have, hey, turn the camera off. Why are you recording? You know what I'm saying to you? Like, the conversation, I'm not having a conversation on camera about, oh, I've taken you on a date and you're trying to disrespect me. What? You must be mad. Now, other women are looking at it and looking at it as disrespectful. You're not looking appetizing. I'll be honest with you, you're not. Right? You're not. So all the comments in the chat about, you know, he's so nice. We know already. You know? We know.
And it hasn't really helped.
Okay.
Exactly. It's like they might think everything about me is reflected in that video, and I don't think it is. And but yeah, it's been difficult.
Sure.
Well, and it's even before this, you know, dating has already been difficult for me. You know?
I imagine your views kind of clash with what you're looking for and what they're looking for.
Yeah, I think so. Because, I mean, I think in general, my values kind of reflect wanting to build something that lasts.
Yes, sir.
And I want to make sure that anyone that I meet is willing to build a really strong foundation based on our mutual values. Mm-hmm. And I think it in general, a lot of the people that I meet, either they don't have time to set towards building something like that, or they just don't want to because, you know, they're younger, they want to experience, you know, casual dating or whatever it is. And it's just not something that I'm looking for right now.
Now, let me be real with you. The stuttering, the stuttering, you know, it don't be helping. You know what I mean? Like, it don't be helping with the perspective and the imagery. And like he said, he was like this before, right? He said this before. He was like, he had trouble with dating women before this. I'm like, yeah, you ain't giving much confidence to me. I can't lie to you. C-Perk, exactly. If we're, and that's the thing as well about it, like, you have to keep it a buck and keep it real. And you know, I've got this video on 1.25 and he's still stuttering and going slow. I'm like, damn, I got on 1.25, but he's talking like he's in 0.75, you know? So I don't know, man. For me, the clothes are not fitting. That's also another thing as well. That also is helping to bring out that, again, that perception. And a lot of the fight that we're having also is about perception too. The initial perception, right? Of how someone looks. Like, the first thing that you feel when you're watching him and listening to is sympathy. You start I start feeling, oh man, I just feel so sad. I feel so sad for him. Now, had another man been, you know, assertive, a little bit more dominant with the way that he moves and the way he sits and the way that he holds himself up, right? Your first instinct might not be sympathy. Your first instinct might be like, she's rude. She's got an attitude. But you're like, you won't necessarily be saying, "Oh, I feel so sorry for this dude. I feel so sympathy." You feel sorry for him because of the way he's sitting, the way he's talking. He looks helpless. He looks absolutely helpless. This is also a part of what I'm talking about when it comes to perception and how it plays a part in respect. Because when people start seeing you as a puppy dog and start seeing you, especially as a man, as soft, then they like to take advantage of you. Same with women too. When men see that they see a little, you know what I mean? Man sitting there like Puss in Boots. You know what I'm saying? You know? And it's like it elicits the sympathy, but it doesn't elicit sexy. That's the whole point, right? It doesn't elicit sexy, it elicits sympathy. And so your instinct isn't to be, I'm attracted to him. Your instinct is to be like, oh, you can be in the friend zone. I'll look after you. Right? It doesn't elicit sexy. You get what I'm saying? Never does. So I just wanted to keep that in there for real things, you know what I mean? So as well.
I understood.
And yes, he's crossing his legs, which is really interesting as well, you know.
But understood. So obviously, guys, Jay's saying that they have a negative, viewing him in a negative light when it comes to dating. When I saw Jay, I saw someone who was making some excellent points, who knew what he wanted, and he's actually now like a Giga Chad in the manosphere world, in the red pill community. The brother's being mentioned everywhere for the way he handled that conversation. Now I'm going to ask Alicia as well, because during this conversation, Alicia.
Thank you.
We'll get that right. Okay, so Alicia, you didn't seem to really disagree with what he was saying. Now you had
Nah, listen, the body language is mad. The body language is mad. He's sitting there like a little kid. Nah, it's mad. I can't lie to you. You know, he's sitting there like a little kid, looking up at her. It's not eliciting, you know, confidence. Now, I know he approached her in the club, but it's not eliciting confidence that I need to see. You know, all right? I'm just saying, you know, he's looking up at her like look, like I don't even know if his legs are swinging underneath the table or not, but he looking up at her, which is looking like, you know, and Darika, you've made a great point. One thing I've noticed about men and women is very different is this. A man who's assertive, whether I like them or not, takes up space. I went on a train the other day and I noticed how women tend to sit when they come and sit next to you on the train when it's busy. Women tend to sit and squeeze themselves in. They want to take up as little or no space because they're used to being in that position where they don't take up space, right? The society that we live in, men tend to take up space. When a man sits down, there's a war. I was on a plane coming back from America, and I was getting pissed off at this guy because we're both big, but you trying to take up my space, brother. You see the armrest? Move your hand across. I have to keep telling him, bro, I beg, listen, bro, I don't want to fight, but can you move your arm, please? Bro, I appreciate it. I know you want to spread your legs, but can you move your legs in, please? Sorry, it wasn't even America, it was Amsterdam. I was like, bro, can you just move your leg in a little bit, please? Yeah, because I'm trying to take up space, and you taking up space, and now we both got space, but we ain't gonna have space because you're trying to take up all the space, because you're in the middle. Bro, I need you to chill, right? Men take up space, right? Men take up space, okay? All right? So in this instance, when you're looking at him, he's not taking up space. He's actually swelling himself up, which is actually an indication of his mindset. Right? Mindset. So the way he's sitting, looking at him like it's like he's a kid of these two. Right? It's like he's a child of these two black people next to him. And again, perception is what's going to also be put across to other women and how they're going to see you. Now, a lot of these things is done calculating, done in the immediate moment. It's not done like, oh my God, I'm literally sitting there going, thinking. It's like, it's quick calculations that are being made and judgments are being formed. All right. Let's go.
Definitely a different opinion before he gave you his mind, right? But you seem very receptive to it. Can you explain to me kind of what you were thinking and how you saw him in that video? Because he's saying they took him in a negative light. What do you think?
Well, yes, I think once we had the conversation, I could see my role in the conflict.
Okay. Okay.
Just back up a little bit to be
And wait, is that her makeup or is that the camera? I think it's a light on the camera because it's making her makeup look very mad.
fair. I mean, I was always raised that the man is supposed to cater to you. I mean, you're courting me, so court me. That means wherever I want to go, you take me.
Absolutely.
Whatever I want, you buy me. That's courting. You know, I'm looking for a provider. So, but after the conversation, I could see how there was a lot of
Nah, this guy's doing a great job. If he's acting, he's doing a great job. Because honestly, I'm not saying that they ain't acting, but I'm just saying he's doing too good of a job. Give him a Hollywood pass right now. She's 6'1". You know, let's let's have a conversation as well. The reality of the situation is, she said about courting, right? And nothing that he was doing in that moment was courting. What they were doing was dating. Yeah, so Darika already said it, right? Darika kind of said it perfectly. They weren't courting, they were dating. And that's the reality of the situation, right? That when you look at what was happening, we're going to a date on IHOP at the Cheesecake Factory. If we were courting, that would never be you filming me. That would be mad. Because at that point, we're looking to move towards marriage. We're being very conscientious about where we're going. That should have never been on camera. You know what I mean? You do that because you're on camera, because you're in a dating phase. You're not in a courting phase, you're in a dating phase. It wasn't about being intentional about going to marriage. That was a dating phase to get to know and see how far we are, see how good we are. Right? Okay? So in reality, when we're talking about this dating versus courting, she's confused things already. Which she doesn't even have a proper idea of what courting is. And since when did courting become about you and only you and getting what you want? That is not courting at all. That is not courting at all. When we talk about courting, we're talking about this intentionality to pursue you and romantic relations. And I'm spending time really getting to know who you are and whether this works for us two getting towards marriage. Yeah? This wasn't courting. This was dating. It's very different.
Okay.
in that exchange.
Absolutely.
I was definitely very self-centered, and I can appreciate if I do want someone to provide for me. I at least gotta be a little bit nice.
Absolutely. Okay. Okay, great. So now I ask you this. Based on your idea of dating before your conversation.
My girl said, if I'm dating you, at least I need to be nice. That's something that she learned. Let me be very honest with you. Let me be real with you. You know, if she didn't work that out before and she only worked it out now, we got a problem. Houston, we got a problem. If she's only working that out, that she has to be nice. It's not even that. And being nice is not being nice or being kind. You know, it's not prerequisite again of sorry, being kind, being kind, I want to specifically say, is a prerequisite of being a human being. So this is not even what you're answering is even problematic. Because when you're saying to me that, you know, at least it's got to be nice, that means already you have, and I believe, a negative outlook towards men. You use them for whatever you want. Because where in what world do you not believe that you should be nice? If I want what I want, I have to be at least nice. What do you mean? Shouldn't you be nice anyway? Shouldn't you be kind to people anyway? Shouldn't that be a prerequisite of you as a characteristic already? Right? Illogic, you don't have to be here, bro. I don't know if your ears are not listening or you're not hearing something. We are having a real conversation about dating. We're not even really making it about the skit. Open your ears, sit down, listen, keep quiet, and stop commenting. Either that or go out. You know what I'm saying? Class is in session and you're annoying me with your comments, right? We're having a real conversation about dating overall. You understand what I'm saying to you? If you can't understand that, I need you to keep quiet, put your pen to the notepad, listen, and get some things here. Otherwise, keep yourself going. I haven't got time. You know what I'm saying? You keep commenting the same thing. It's a skit. We just said it to you. We know it's a skit. My God. I need you to listen or get out of class. So, back to what we're saying. You know, so it should be a prerequisite of what you already know. Like, you should already want to be kind to somebody. You get what I'm saying to you? right? And here's my thing too, on the flip side, right? On the flip side, this mentality is not new. This mentality is something that she's always had. You get what I'm saying to you? So what was his vetting phase for also finding out about this woman? Or was it a simple case of we matched on Hinge and we went on a date? Right? Was it a simple case of we matched on Hinge and we went on a date? Is that what it is? Right? So there needed to also be a flip side of him actually also vetting her, making sure that actually, hey, look, I'm seeing some attitude things and it's really not for me. You know what I mean? That is also, that would have been real courting because we'd have really been assessing certain attitudes. You get what I'm saying to you? So that's another thing as well.
Conversation with Jay. How did you grow up? Who also thinks that way? I'm sure you have friends who think that way. I've heard it a lot.
I mean, everybody. I mean, that's what the man's, he's supposed to be the provider.
Absolutely.
So, and I'm a beautiful woman. So I'm expecting to be treated like royalty. I mean, come on. So that's what I was doing.
How do we treat him? And that's where the disconnect was.
Right.
In the video, now of course I'm sure you think of it differently now, but in the video you basically told him that you're not going in there, you know your value. It would be embarrassing for you to go inside a Cheesecake Factory. A lot of people like Cheesecake Factory.
Oh.
Now, so when I see that video, I'm thinking, okay, she must have some friends who probably would disagree with her going inside a Cheesecake Factory. Your peer group. So peer pressure probably keeps you from.
I would never live that. Oh my God. I would never live that down.
Wow. Just date the Cheesecake.
He looks like he's under. Why he look like he's under stress? The young man, he looks like he's under stress. She talked about obviously. I'm looking for a provider, etc., etc. And again, we have no problems with somebody wanting a provider and wanting somebody to take care of them. I want to make it very clear: we are not against this. We're not against this. We're not against it at all. What we are going to have a problem with is attitude. Right? And like I said beforehand, somebody ends up disrespecting you because they believe they're above you. That is why the respect happened, right? The disrespect happens because they believe you're above you. And we're hearing it now that Cheesecake Factory is not on her level. But humility is in the way that you understand how to deliver a message in some aspect. That's not full humility. I'm just taking a paraphrasing of it, right? But if you're a humble person, you'd have delivered it in a better way, right? You would have not chosen this way to be disrespectful to the other party involved. Whether your girls go to the Cheesecake Factory or not makes no difference in how that, hey, look, this is not my level. I expect, this is what I actually do expect. It's not my thing, right? So you just have to communicate that in a better way. If you're telling me that you're royalty, then you should understand that when you're royalty, who are you dating? Are you dating a pauper? Is that what you're really telling me? You're royalty, but you date paupers. Because that's the reason why, that's the way you're talking to them. You're talking to the man as if he's a subject. So again, the elevated estimation of oneself, almost narcissistic, like, and I'm not saying she is, but it's so prideful and arrogant because you've said I'm royalty, yet you treat people like paupers and subjects. So you don't marry kings? Queens are out here marrying subjects? More fool you. If you know anything about history, you marry a subject, he ends up trying to kill you by the end. Right? So my thing again, in this situation, if you really are royalty, you believe you're a queen and you deserve to be treated like one, then speak like one and treat others as such. And this also goes to kings as well, who call themselves kings. Men who call themselves kings and disrespectful to women. You're not a king, right? You're not a king. Kings are not disrespectful to their queens. So like you trying to talk to women and be disrespectful and calling yourself a king, yeah, you're a problem to me. Because in what way are you royalty, but you treat your royal partner in such a disrespectful manner? Right? That is not kingship. That's dominance. Okay?
Cheesecake Factory, they wouldn't let you live that down.
No, I have an image to protect.
Wow.
does not do that. That was that was my circle though. That's how
Sure.
that's how we roll.
Sure.
To be quite blunt, that's how we roll. Hypergamy is a big thing in my circle.
and it was at these points, and let me be honest with you, that I felt like this was a skit, right? And the reason why is because there's key words that are being spoken. If you've listened to anything on the manosphere side, there are key points that are being mentioned, cooperative, the phraseology about how, I wouldn't go to Cheesecake Factory, my girls, and then obviously now talking about how hypergamy. These are all key words that the manosphere will take, and it's a buzzword that manosphere love to take and destroy. They would have destroyed this woman. And probably destroyed him too, right? Because of the buzzwords that get them into a space where they're like, yeah, can't wait. See, this is exactly what we're talking about with modern women. Daga, 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 daga. So that's when I started realizing, yeah, this is probably a performance, because they're intentionally using certain words that you don't even use normally in day-to-day action conversation. But anyway.
It's what we've been taught. Well, as a black woman, I'm gonna go there. As a black woman, we're really tired of having to settle.
And the fact that she went to this familiar trope and rhetoric, this is when I knew that, okay, this is doing too much. We know that this is a part of, they're going to try and get this into the manosphere side, because manosphere will blow anything else up. Anything that supports their particular point of view about how bad black women are, and I'm talking about black manosphere, not manosphere. Manosphere is the white side, but it's black manosphere. They will run with it. So she just had to take that side of it. Now, let's take it, even though it's a skit and we know that it is, let's take it for what it is, right? She mentioned about how black women settle. There are black women that do settle, but the reality of the situation is this wasn't a settling moment, right? This is where the incorrect use of I don't want to settle is used. The man is respectful, okay? The man took you on another date, on an original date originally, and then had to reschedule because you were late. This situation isn't a settle situation. This is a disrespectful situation. All right? Okay? This is a respect situation. And so at this point, when you're hearing her talk about black women settling, this isn't one of those particular videos. This isn't one of those particular situations. Right? Yeah? So we know that in this situation, right, that this isn't a black woman settling situation. So and again, so then that goes to, if we're talking as what it is, mindset. Your immediate victim mindset is like, I'm not immediate victim mindset, let me change it wording. That your immediate mindset is, I have to be high and mighty and no one's going to bring me down. But the reality is you haven't found balance. A lot of times when that rhetoric comes out, it's because we haven't found balance. And because we're scared of being hurt again, we take this other side of extreme, black women are settling. Hey, in this situation, it wasn't even that case, baby. You can't even look at it from a contextual perspective and immediately run to a rhetoric, right? You see, instead of being vulnerable and being balanced, that shows me you're not healed, that you ran straight to a rhetoric to cover your ass. Right? And people that run to rhetorics of generalizations about their party or the other party usually use it as a protective measure from actually being vulnerable about the real issue. You know what I'm saying to you? She knew exactly where the date was going. It was meant to be at another restaurant. She knew. And unfortunately, she was an hour late and he had to reschedule and go to Cheesecake Factory. Now, she could have said from early, I'm not going to Cheesecake Factory.
We want to be treated well. Mm-hmm. We want that soft life. So that's what I thought I was going after. However, what I understand is a part of having a soft life is being cooperative.
Being soft.
Not being combative.
You're
right?
Actually being soft.
Right.
Being receptive, being sweet.
Absolutely.
Being pleasant, right? Because
again, once more, this is, the language. Again, if you didn't know it was a skit before, or at least that they're trying to trigger some people, again, the wording again, right? The wording again, talking about how, I can't be combative, I can't be this if I'm going to be. Anyway, but let's keep it real, right? Let's keep it real. She makes a good point though, soft life. You want soft life, but there are going to be things that are going to be requested of you that are going to need the person they're going to be needed from you from the other side, right? There are going to be some things that the other party has to provide. So you want to be taken care of. What is your role? in all of that, what is your role and what is my role? That needs to be defined by two people in the dating phase. And if they're being intentional about what they're doing, we need to define that what we want.
We do understand the value of resources, but it can't be just something for a lifestyle. Resources, a man's resources is not just for a woman's experiences and traveling and the lifestyle they'll live when married. It's for providing for the family and the children. And that's why she should seek a man and, you know, respect his resources or prioritize his resources, not just for what it can do for her. Right. And so when you were in the beginning of it, you were just saying, I'm not doing it. It seemed really selfish. Right. And I appreciated that. When I saw the video myself, that's one of the things I covered is, wow, I've never seen a woman that receptive to being accountable. Right. And you were. But Jay, however, didn't want to go out on a date. He wanted to discontinue that date, and he wanted to take it on to the house. Jay, is that your first time stopping a date midway through and going on back home, or?
Yeah, something like that's. I'm sorry, at least that's the first time I've really like put my foot down to that kind of extent. But it's not like an isolated incident. You know, like I've gone on dates with several people now, even before her, where they had very specific things they were looking for in a boyfriend or whatever, and even within my own circles, right? And that's just not something that I'm looking for, because I was raised like we were talking about how she was raised, whereas with me, like my family, like we've passed down the name for ages, and we're a very close-knit, strong family.
You passed down your first name, Jay? Like your father's and father. How many generations, probably?
I mean, I couldn't really count it myself.
Wow.
Because I mean, the thing is, like, I'm from India.
Okay.
You know, and the partition happened where like India was separated from Pakistan, and a lot of my family were on both sides of that, and we had to come back together.
Wow.
And we had to. It was very important for us to stay strong after the fact. At the time, maybe we didn't care as much about like, creating this legacy, but ever since, it's like that's been one of the strongest parts of our family, is the importance in creating our legacy. And with that in mind,
Cause you guys to really idealize relationships, right? And
specifically relationships that last.
absolutely. And so here you, and we haven't yet began to idealize relationships, you know, so we're more so going along with the flow.
We didn't have time to go out with friends and all that, but it was a really close friend's birthday, so I went to get some drinks for the first time in ages, and I saw this beautiful woman who it seemed like every other guy in the bar was either intimidated by or too shy to talk to, and I thought, what the hell, why not? And she was, you know, minding her own business, and I asked her, you know, her name, Alicia, and I thought that's a beautiful name. And even despite how loud it was in the bar, we were still able to talk a little here and there, and I got her number, and she had to go. And so we kept talking after that for a little bit, and then like a week later, I asked her, "You want to go out? I mean, to this restaurant?"
Yeah.
And I told her it would be a surprise, and maybe that might be a problem on my part. You know, it might have raised the expectations a little bit, but I guess the surprise ended up being Cheesecake Factory, where
Right.
we.
So there's also a breakdown of communication that happened between the two of them. So, you know, he said obviously that, you know, he said that, you know, he was a surprise of where they were going to go for dinner, you know, and, you know, he said it's a surprise of where they went to dinner. He said he saw her at the bar. Do you know what it's giving? This story is giving classic. It's giving classic teenage film situation. You know, it's giving classic teenage. I'm the guy that didn't know girls were looking at, and you know, I like the girl that's a popular girl in school. She doesn't look at me, and then you know, I do something crazy. I do something crazy, and the hot girl at the end sees me, likes me, kisses me, and falls in love. Like it's giving that teenage kind of story, right? That background, right? But he spoke about obviously how you know at the thing, you know, they sat down and you know, sorry, he saw her at the bar and he went over, had a conversation, and he saw that everyone else was getting. Now I don't know how he saw that everyone else wasn't going to her, or how everyone else was not getting through to her. I don't know how he saw that. He must have been watching for a very long time. Okay, all right, okay. He might have been watching for a very long time. You know, but yes, a surprise date, obviously, and they had an original date they were going to go to, but because she was an hour late, they had to reschedule. Now, I think the part of I think the part that is intriguing here is a breakdown of communication, because the original date they should have gone on to, he should have communicated that from the beginning, right? Yes, she was an hour late, but he should have communicated, hey, I have reservations for this dinner place, but we've now lost it because unfortunately, okay, because now unfortunately we can no longer go to that date because we've missed our time. And so now, unfortunately, I'm looking for somewhere else. I'm looking to go Cheesecake Factory. That should have been communicated, right? Because the last thing that's been said is surprise, right? What should have been said? It should have been communicated, because what you've done is you've said surprise, and though she's in the wrong, and she was late, an hour late, the communication next should have been, hey, at the time of before we leave here, I've been waiting here for an hour. Unfortunately, the restaurant we had, the reservations we had, no longer is accepting us. We're late, right? So look, I would like to still take you out. Where I want to take you out to is a Cheesecake Factory, right? Do you want to go? Now, let me be honest with you. Her being an hour late, unless she's delusional, most people are going to be like, you know what? I'm the one that's wrong. Let's go. You know what I mean? Like, I can go to Taco Bell for a date. I don't really give a hoots. I'm not fazed. But, again, once more, right? Communication is so vital when it comes to relationships. We want to be able to communicate, right? We want to be able to talk. We want to be able to converse. We want to be able to let the person know this is where I'm at the moment. This is all important because people have different ideas in their head, right? People have ideas in their head. Okay, all right. Okay, so let's continue onwards again.
The original surprise was.
I want to get to that. You had something else planned for her, right?
Yeah.
Because of how the evening went, the Cheesecake Factory happened, right?
Yeah.
So
can I just say before
sure.
I love the Cheesecake Factory, and it's a place that I've gone to for like every birthday. So like it wasn't just like a random restaurant to me. It was also like a place that I've gone with my family throughout my entire life, and I love Cheesecake Factory.
So you didn't. So obviously the because you guys were late, she wasn't ready. You weren't able to take her to the restaurant that you wanted to take her to. You figured I can't go wrong with Cheesecake Factory, right?
Yeah.
It's my old birthday restaurant.
It's my lucky.
She'll love it.
And that's the lucky spot too at the perimeter.
Lucky spot. Okay, we'll come back to that. Well, no, I'm kidding with you.
Okay.
Alicia.
Yeah.
So Jay, you see Jay walking up to you in the bar, say Midtown. He's walking up to you. He's going to talk with you. There are other guys around you. Did you notice those guys probably want to talk to you? Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
So what made you say, okay, I'm going to give this guy a chance? What was it about him?
Now, this is where it gets interesting, right? Because like I said, we've always said this on this channel, okay? First and foremost, what he mentions about the Cheesecake Factory area is exactly why communication has to happen, right? It's exactly why Cheesecake Factory has to be mentioned. It's not just about Cheesecake Factory. It's like, this is why, the conversation has to be had between two people and communicate, okay? All right? So let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it real. Cheesecake Factory means a lot to you. So it means that now, unfortunately, her rejecting it is going to feel much more painful for you. Totally understand. But this is why I said about making sure, all right, we communicate that to the person and let them know, hey, look, we're having to change venues and change situations because of such and such. But I still want to take you out. I want to go Cheesecake Factory. It's one of my favorite places to go. Let's go grab some dessert, or some cheesecake. We'll share and let's have a conversation and vibe. Now, if she decides that she don't want to go anywhere, okay, right? And she decides she don't want to go anywhere, that's up to you. That's up to her. And then you can leave it as it is. But continue on the thought process that it's a surprise leaves you in danger. And this is why I'm saying about, and I've done this before, and I'm always growing and always learning about communication, because sometimes we leave certain details out because we assume the person should be cool with it. But now something means something to you. You understand what I'm saying to you? And this reminds me of about that story I've told you guys way back in the day about football. That one of my first ever back in the day, I had a girlfriend and I told her to come and watch me play football. But I didn't tell her just how important it meant for me for her to be there that day. So what happened is, unfortunately, it hurt them more when she weren't there. You understand what I'm saying to you? Right? Oh, feel free. If you want to mention a place, you can mention Roxy. If you want to mention a chat, I don't mind. I just want everyone to know that we know it's a skit already. Like, I've put it in the thing. I just want everyone to know we know it's a skit already. But yeah, by all means, put the link in the chat if people want to watch it. Put the link in the chat. Put the video where people can watch the fact that it's fake. I don't mind you put it in the chat for the people. It's always good to link other channels. But yeah, no. So again, communication needs to happen. You know, like, don't assume. When you assume in that place, you leave yourself open. And now also, because a place means something to you, that person rejecting it at the same time causes issue. You get what I'm saying to you? So you have to be in that place of communication too, as a man, that just because I've said it, that, you know, I want to take you out or whatever, you go for it, you know? You know what I mean? You got to still communicate. That's what we call assertive communication.
Well, he was bold enough to come up and talk to me for
Confidence,
one.
okay.
So yes, I definitely am attracted to confidence.
Mhm.
He just seemed like he had a pure heart. He was, you know, very thoughtful, engaging. I mean, the only he won me over. He did win me over, but I'm a tall woman, and so there wasn't necessarily like that immediate attraction. But as we began to talk, it was really his heart that made me say, I'll give this guy a try.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that where you draw your line? Is it typically you don't date guys who are, you guys have to be at least your height or taller before you would date them?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that. That probably makes it difficult finding someone suitable for yourself. You are what, 6'1", 6?
I'm almost 6'1", yeah.
Almost 6'1". Wow. So that means, let's see, 14.5% of men are at least 6 feet, right? But that next 2 inches for you to find someone taller than you, that's 3.6% of men in the entire world that are tall enough that are at least 6'2". Is that discouraging?
I mean, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. Look, you know, at the end of the day, I'll be honest with you in the situation. You know, I think, you know, height is a big thing. I do get it. You know, we've all had conversations about how, you know, maybe height isn't as important, you know, and he laid out some of the stats as well going forward, and totally understand that as well. I think the key thing here is that she wasn't attracted to him. Let's keep it buck. She was attracted to his confidence, but wasn't attracted to him. And that was going back to what I said originally about why disrespect actually happens, because the person wasn't attracted to you like that. Right? Okay? The person wasn't attracted to you like that. All right, so, I'll be honest with you, that plays a huge part in why someone can end up disrespecting you, because we've battled it on this channel before, where we said as well, yo, look, hey, just want to let you guys know, okay, that don't choose us unless you find us attractive. So, and that's okay. I don't want you to choose me if you're not attracted to me. Okay.
I mean, I only need one.
You need one, but he needs to be that height. He needs to make the resources, right?
Yeah.
He needs to be funny. He needs to be charismatic. He needs to be disciplined. And that doesn't discourage you? Like,
I'm an optimist, but no.
I like it. I like
but no, I mean,
An optimist.
Logically speaking, I understand what you're saying. I've heard this many times, but I haven't given up on, I hadn't given up on that. But I'm actually open. You know, I really enjoyed our conversation, so I would consider.
Well, sure, and I was going to commend you for that. I didn't see it as I know you're saying that they have to be that height, but it seems that you are willing to, you know, make an exception, just like you did for Jay here when he walked up and he had the confidence of a 6'2" man. You were to at least hear what he had to say, and that's a good thing, because it may not be the cookie cutter thing that you plan out. So if we're going to look for a happy relationship, a harmonic one that gives our children and our lineage what they need for years and generations to come, right? We may have to make an exception or two. Right?
Yeah. Sometimes it's not what we want, it's what we need. And we have to be more open to what we need.
That's absolutely true. I was going to say, when it comes to how we date, I think a lot of it is just the information that we have, right? So what I noticed from yours and Alicia's conversation, Jay, is that you had a different view of altogether of what dating should look like leading up to a relationship, and she had a different view.
Yeah,
and now,
like, what I should say is, I mean, at the very end of the day, like, I understand dating in America is different from where my family's from, and in a way, like, it's perfectly fine. to have those views and to think of dating differently. I just think, for me, I have a very specific criteria, and it's not a long list of criteria, but it's just certain values that I
Sure. Well, I think a lot like you. That's why the
Yeah.
video stood out to me. Meaningful relationship, and I think that's the biggest problem. It's not so much that people are necessarily selfish or entitled. It's more so that they don't know what they're looking for, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Oftentimes we think we know, but we really don't.
Right.
And that was
Absolutely. Because there
Yeah.
are communication skills,
absolutely.
knowing what he wants, where he's going with it, right?
Yes.
Initiative, taking the initiative, chivalry,
Yes.
okay? Resilience,
Yes.
right? So even when you're being a little bit, hard to get, he can push past that, right? The resilience. Generosity,
Yes.
okay? So here are the behaviors that look good to a man when he's looking for a woman. I'm going to ask you the same questions you have if you like the sound of that. Men are looking for kindness, right? You want her to be really kind, really sweet, right? Pleasant. So what about active listening?
Yeah.
And you said when she got in the car, she was putting the makeup on and she wasn't really responding to you or responsive to you.
Yeah.
You took from that she didn't like you much.
Yeah.
Right. Encouragement. And,
Yes,
and
please.
you said that, being able to pour back into him, right? Positivity, right? So not being negative, having a smile on your face, right? Respect for independence.
Yeah.
Okay. Adaptability. Okay. There was this time where you wanted her to hold your arm,
Yeah.
right? And walk you to the, so you could walk her to the car, and she didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
You expressed to her that you didn't like that. And it made you feel like, of course, when her not being on your arm, how can you truly protect her, right? But also her not doing that says she ain't really feeling me like that.
Yeah.
She don't really.
Yo. Oh man, the madness. Jay, I need to pack my Jamaica thing. I haven't even ironed. I've got so many things to iron right now. I need to get off this live and go and iron. I need to do that. I need to go and do that.
Like me like that.
And
Yeah.
I get, it was a first date. Maybe she's not.
This man, he is taking care of me. We're out together, right? So
It's like it kind of shows that you trust.
absolutely.
I think.
And again, there are some real points to this, right? So I think also with this situation, the real things with it is that there are some real issues going on here, right? For instance, yes, if I'm with you, I do want you to hold my hand. Of course I do. Like, I know it's a trust situation, but I would love to have that. But I'm also respectful for the fact that, like he said, I'm respectful for the fact that not everyone wants that physical touch just yet. I hear it. I'm not mad at it. And I think everyone understands that once you are, a mature individual person, that people are not going to want that first touch immediately. You know what I mean? Like, we all know. So I definitely understand that part, right? But it definitely diving into that territory of protect women. How can we protect women unless they're close to you?
The ability to do his full,
RP talks.
to be his full masculine self in that capacity, right?
Yeah.
The last thing I had here was intellectual stimulation, right? So
Small talk, maybe, and maybe sometimes it feels like it's something that'll take more time to get her to open up or something
Sure.
like that. Where at the end of the day, they don't want a second date because we haven't gotten to know each other. And that to me sounds so irritating because you didn't want to get to know, we didn't get to know each other because they wouldn't want to talk.
absolutely.
So it's like,
I completely understand. So as a man dating with intent, you're ending up in these situations where a lot of times you're in hookup culture. And so you're not getting a second date out of it. Meanwhile, here you are, you have spent your money, you spent time with this person who you're never going to likely see again.
Yeah.
Right? Women oftentimes are looking at dates as what they can get out of them, right? And experience, right? Take me to a nice restaurant. I want the ambiance. I want the treatment, right? And with no intent of doing anything special for the guy after the date. So it's almost like it's almost like she's getting over on him, right? Like she's using them for meals. And that's what men say. I'm not going to keep taking these women out if they don't like me. Don't go out if you don't like me, because then it wouldn't end up where he's on the outside looking into the thing. What do women say oftentimes when he's upset? I took you to this restaurant, I did that, and now you don't.
I mean, that's a good point. Listen, of course, please, if you know, Jay, don't be saying I leave. Jay, do not be saying I leave tonight. Hold on a minute. God damn, I'm gonna miss my flight. Hold on a minute. Jay, don't be scaring me. I leave tomorrow, Jay. What's you talking about, man? Jay got me now searching my phone. Like, wait, do I leave tonight? Like, Jay, don't do that to me, man. I leave on the 26th, man. Y'all be scaring the heck out of me. You know what I mean? Baby, I had to check. I leave tomorrow at 12:45. Jay, don't do that. I literally just checked my phone. I was like, whoa, wait, do I leave today? No, I leave tomorrow at 12:45. Jay, don't do that. God damn, I had my heart in my mouth, bro. Yeah, no. So, listen. I'm tired of this video anyway because there's nothing left to break into it, right? There's nothing left to talk about. But in reality, I think there were some key things that could have been taken. There's some key things that could have been, to be administered from both sides, right? I think there is communication error on both sides, and some issues when it comes to communication. So I think, of course, like I said in the very beginning, I knew that this was a skit. And I didn't like it because I knew that it was aimed at trying to take shots at black women. I could tell that skit, the way it was set up, I could tell, right? But taking that aside, we had to take apart some things, that were going to be key to the conversation about dating. There are things that help foster good relationships. There are things that help foster good relations with the opposite sex. And so, of course, this young lady who, did a skit, was part of it, shows up that, certain women are bad vibes. I totally get it. There are people like that. It's just a reality situation. There are people like this. I know people don't want to believe it, but there are people like this. Now, are they the majority? No. I can't say they are. I can't say they are. Now, you're right, Mr. Play. The free meal conversation, I'm going to tell you straight. I've heard it from the horse's mouth. This is real. And it happens more than you like to think it does, right? But like I said, me personally, I'm not going out on a meal if I don't know if I like you already. Like, we should already have conversations. Me personally, that's me. I ain't been done for the meal yet because I talk to people and have conversations before I go and have a meal. The meal don't come first. You understand what I'm saying to you? Right? So me personally, I don't do those. It hasn't happened to me. It hasn't happened to me because I have conversations with women before I get into a situation when I go, let me take you on a date. Because me putting money into let me take you on a date is an investment. Right? So for me personally, I'm going to spend my time talking to you, understanding you, okay? All right? And getting to know who you are and what kind of mindset you have first. Before I start saying, let's go on a date. Now, if I throw my hat to the ring and I say, let me take you out, I'm probably not thinking about dating you. Because I'm not even thinking about how to be intentional. I'm just going, I just want to go to a nice restaurant. I want to take you out. I want to be seen with you. I like your energy, you like my energy. That's it. You know what I'm saying to you? But if I'm intentional, then all my things are intentional. Yeah? If I'm intentional, then I'm intentional about all my things. That means how I start it. Before I take you on an outing and pay for stuff, I'm going to first tap into your mindset. Who the heck are you? Right? Who are you to me? Or who are you? What kind of person are you? What kind of mindset do you have? Right? So I'm not mad. The game is a game. I always say this. The game is the game. The game is a game. So, yeah. But yes, we'll leave it there. And I'll definitely chop up this video as well. For you guys going forward. Aries and a couple of ladies said, I'm not going to eat with someone I don't want to spend time with. I spend more on myself. That's fair. Roxy said, that's crazy. Lol, the people are sitting through a meal with someone they don't like just for free food. Someone else said, people going out for free meals is ridiculous. It's not that serious, but I'm sure people do it. There are people are. Now don't mention coffee, Aries, because they done told me already that y'all don't like doing coffee dates in America. So y'all told me very clearly and loudly, y'all don't do no coffee dates in America, and we shouldn't be enlisting any coffee dates in America because that's gonna be a problem. So I hear you, Aries. You know what I'm saying? I'm with you, but they said that we shouldn't take them on coffee dates. That's poverty right there. So I don't want to get into a beef with that, See, Roxy said that's a no-no. No, Roxy's like, that's a no-no. She ain't doing no coffee dates. And again, this is what I'm saying about having conversations about mindsets, about where people are, before you go and take someone else out, right? Because for me personally, I love a good coffee date. as a starting block, I love a good coffee date. You know, I'm not even drinking coffee. I'm gonna have a frappuccino. You know, because I want to be able to talk. I want to be able to get to know you. I want to be able to have a conversation, right? So because I value that aspect, I want to do a coffee date because it's the first time I've got to know you. I don't know who the heck you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to start there. You know what I mean? I want to start there. Let me have my frappuccino, you know, or whatever. You can have your hot chocolate or whatever, blah, blah, blah. You know, okay. I want to get to know who you are first. Then I can start doing the you know the nice intricacies of dating, which are going to be more meaningful to me or more meaningful to you. But again, everyone's got a different mindset. You get what I'm saying to you? Everyone's got a different mindset. And so you have to tap in and talk to someone and be like, okay, if that's your mindset, then maybe we're not aligned. And that's okay. So before it ends up you now on a camera and someone telling you, you know, let's first and foremost have that conversation. You know what I mean? Let's understand where people's mindsets are. You know? Let's understand where people's mindsets are. You know? For me personally, you know, when I start hearing people be like, I'm a very simple person. You understand what I'm saying to you? And I know I had a situation and the person said something and I looked at them and I didn't say anything. I just said to myself, yeah, I'm discounting you. Because we're not gonna have the same mindset, right? And that's gonna lead to disrespect when you feel. And I saw a post the other day about feeling bougie in different areas. Some people like bougie in flights. Some people are bougie in hotels. Like Sean is bougie hotel. Like Sean knows. Sean will tell you when it comes to a hotel, Sean is bougie. Like he is bougie. The bougetto of Sean when it comes to hotels. That boy. He gonna have me broke. He gonna have me broke. He gonna join Aries and Waldorf. But like in real spit, like everyone has their bouge. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So I need to understand where your bouge is, and do I actually understand? Can I relate to that bouge? Because maybe you're food bougie. You like to be at expensive restaurants, but you don't really care about where you stay. You know what I mean? Maybe, you know, I knew another girl who was very bougie when it comes to places that she stays. She likes to spend a lot of money on where she stays, rather than the flight and getting there. And that's no problem. You know what I mean? I saw that and I was like, okay, that's her bouge. That's what she likes. She likes the expensive places where she stays. That's where her experience is. She doesn't care about the flight. We were going EasyJet. We don't care. You know what I mean? But the place she had to stay, she wanted it to be a certain thing. And so once I started to understand that and be able to I was able to, I understood, okay, everyone has a different level of bouge. You know, everyone has a level of bouge. So it depends on where you see it, you know, and what you're willing to put your money into, you know, right? So for me personally, Jay's like me. I mean, me and you, Jay, are similar anyway. You already know Jay. I will go to an expensive restaurant just because you say it's an experience, but I don't typically enjoy myself at expensive restaurants. But, you know, everyone's different, right? Everyone has different things. So everyone's got to know. Sean said, yeah, no Spirit Airlines and I don't like layovers. You know. So he said it's got to be none of that stuff for him. They told me not to get Spirit when I came to UK. You know what? The prices in Spirit be having me in a good place. Ocho Chad went to Spirit. I need to start using Spirit when I come to America. This going and flying Delta and DM. Let me get with a Spirit, man. You know, let me go over Spirit, you know, Airlines. Okay? Let me go over Spirit Airlines. You know what I mean? Let me go with the Spirit Airlines, bro. Catch a little flight, man. Mosh said, I went to expensive restaurants and ended up in a drive-thru afterwards because the food weren't hitting. I hear you. You know, I hear you. You know, listen, sometimes you go to an expensive restaurant, it don't hit. I will be honest with you. I went to a restaurant recently and it was a very nice restaurant. Very nice restaurant. You might have seen it put it on my story. And I won't lie to you. The food was hitting. Now I was still hungry after, but the food was hitting. Okay? All right? You know? So it's, you know, there's, there's different places you can go. I went to a place and there's more expensive, you know, where that bill, when it comes through, you look at the bill and you go, and you just put your card in and say, listen, sha la 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 la, you know. But you know, and I really enjoyed myself. At one point, you know, and I, you know, what we ordered, I was like, I would never order that in my lifetime. Okay, all right, I would never order in my lifetime. But when they brought it, you know what I mean, I was like, oh, this was like, it was like a raw beef with like this thin wafer, you know. It was like a raw beef with thin wafer and like some other thing, hors d'oeuvres or whatever with it. Man, beautiful. It was so tiny, but it was beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, I was infuriated at how tiny it was, but it was so, the flavor was so packing, you know? The flavor was packing. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, you know, I think, again, you know, I think you got to choose the right kind of place. I'm not saying expensive restaurants don't have it. I've been to some and it actually did work. You know, I went to another restaurant where I spent £200 on my days. You know, and the steak again, but maybe because I'm always, when I go to expensive restaurants, I like to choose steak. I can't lie to you. You know, I like to choose steaks. And that's what usually tells me how good it was. They were cutting the steak on the side with us. They trimmed it to the side, sliced it onto our plate. I mean, listen, I'm gonna tell you this now, blood. Rare beef stagnant. That's the one, bro. That's the one right there, bro. You know, that's the one right there, bro. It was slapping. Can't lie to you. So I was like, whoa. I was like, okay, I've never tried it before, but you know what? It be working. You know, that's how I be working. Yeah. So for me personally, I'm a steak person. When I go to those restaurants, I want to eat a good steak. You know, and eat those things. So, yeah. So, yeah, man. But yeah, we gon'. Oh, there was something again I wanted to talk about really quickly. Actually, saying that, because I was gonna do a video on it, but I'm also do it here and I'll cut it up a little bit later on. And it was about, y'all hear about Jada? Now, did you guys hear about Jada? I just want to know, did you hear about Jada again? Okay, I got a steak in the fridge. I'm gonna fry that up in a second. Did you hear what Jada just said? I just wanna just know if you know what Jada said. That's what I want to know. Did you know what Jada said? Okay. Okay. Now, I don't know if this is a change in storyline. I don't know if Jada's trying to pull a wall over our eyes. I'm majorly confused at this point. I tell ya, I'm majorly confused at this point, at this moment. I don't know if Jada's telling the truth or not, but let me tell you this now. Andre, oh, sorry, brother, send it to me on my email, littleblackbird91@gmail.com. Send it to my email, and I'll definitely use it for open show. Not a problem at all, bro. Send it to my email, bro. Yeah? Listen to this, guys.
This is where the media, and I get it, this is where the media wants to clamp on something. Oh, they've been, spin it all around. So yes, we were separated for 7 years until Oscar night.
Period. I know that's right. 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 I know that's right, Jada. I know that's right. Hello. Say something for them. Say something for them. Say something for them. Let you get started, but you know.
This is where the media, and I get it, this is where the media wants to clamp on something. Oh, they've been, spin it all around. So yes, we were separated for 7 years until Oscar night.
Period. I know that's right. 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 I know that's right, Jada. I know that's right. Hello. Say something for them. Say something for them. Say something for them. Let you get started, but you know.
What y'all think? What y'all think? Listen, After that slap, she said, "Listen, now that's a Negro I can respect, okay? Because they were separated for 7 years, okay, all right." Until Oscar night, she gave that guy a slap. She suddenly saw it. Jada's toxic. I'm sorry, Jada's toxic. Okay, yeah, Jada's toxic. Okay, all right. She's got a little toxicity in her. I gotta be honest with her, right? Because baby, why are we waiting till the Oscar slap till we get back together again? You want to see some? You see, when people are saying that they're looking at Jada going, "What did Jada make Will do?" This is what they mean. This is what they mean. And I keep saying this. Every time there's a narrative that goes around that's mad, it's because Jada says something. You know what I'm saying to you? It's because Jada says something mad, and then we have another story, and I'm like, Jada, please stop talking. Every time you talk, there's a new narrative. You know what I'm saying to you, right? Every time you talk, there's a new narrative. Now I'm not vexed. I get it. I understood what happened at the moment. You know, it might have been defending your honor, whatever. But you know, his career was ruined. Oh no, I shouldn't say ruined, but it was very much tarnished. And you know, it said a lot. I mean, there was a lot of backlash against Will. I mean, so I mean, listen, I get it. I know that women are turned on by those things, but that usually is somebody who is toxic. That's why, you know. Now we can break the psychology down, and the psychology is that when someone, as someone put in the chat, protects you and defends you and shows you the highest level of where they're willing to go to protect you, it is a turn on. But the reality of the situation is this glorification of, you know, tells me there's a little bit of toxicity in there. You know? All right? So for me personally, you know, I'm not with it. I need Jada to keep quiet. I need somebody to grab her lips and be like, Jada, shh. You know what I'm saying to you? Right? Andre, and the reality is, that is what she looks for. That is what turns her on. Right? So I'm going to be real with you. 7 years of separation, a slap, undid that, got him the panties. Because I think Jada has a blind spot, and I don't know if she fully is aware of her blind spot. She likes that aggression. It's because that's the life she led. When I listened to part of her book, and I realized, whoa, she came from that place. Right? She ain't never left the hood. Like Jada is no. When I used to hear interviews of Will Smith telling us that she's gangster, I was looking at Jada gangster? But when you listen to her background, no, she real gangster. She real gangster. Can't play with it. Where she's from, what she's experienced, what she's gone through, how she moves. That's why I was like, you know that you know, you ever watch the Batman show, what's it called? Gotham, right? In Gotham, she plays a role. I can't remember her character's name. And I said, she bodied this role. You know? I was like, she bodied this role in the Gotham series. I said, she really killed it. I really believe that she was gangster. Because in my head, I've never seen her as gangster. Mooney. She tore that role up. I mean, every time I saw her, I wanted to, she was killing the role. You understand what I'm saying to you? Right? So this is not something that Jada is that person. Like, she is about that life. So it wouldn't behoove me that, unfortunately, looking at Will Smith, he isn't gangster, and that the gangster hasn't come out of her in the way that she looks at attraction and what also keeps her safe. You know what I mean? Right? Unfortunately, I hadn't watched Set It Off, and I saw her in Matrix 2. Matrix, she was kind of, but I didn't see her as gangster. She was definitely, her role was definitely hard, but I never saw her as gangster until I saw Fisherman. I was like, oh, she real gangster. Like, you know what I mean? So, you know, so for her growing up in Baltimore and growing up the way she did, she is someone that is the life that she's actually led. That's what speaks to her. You know what I'm saying to you? So how does one feel safe in a relationship if you haven't done the healing work to feel safe in a relationship where there is none of that gangster stuff happening? Right? Tupac and Will Smith, I think, gave her two aspects of who she was. And so long as Tupac was alive, there's a part of her that was always satisfied by Tupac being around. Not necessarily interrelationship, not necessarily sleep with him, you know what I mean? But just being able to have that person who understands that part of you. And then having, well, I'm not saying Will can't be gangster or anything, but he doesn't necessarily come necessarily full on from that background. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Right? When he describes his background, he's middle class. You know, he was actually quite well off. So when you hear it, you're like, okay, I get it now. Right? I get it. I'm like, oh, okay. I can see why the draw to Tupac was so heavy as well. Right? So, yeah, no. So, it was quite intriguing, you know, in that space. And I can understand it a bit better now as to why it's gone the way it's gone. You know what I mean? But I think what I see with Will Smith and Jada, I think they'll get back. I think they will come back properly again. You know, I think they'll definitely. I think they'll definitely work it out and continue their marriage. And I know they've already said that they will, but I think they will get back to romantic relationship of the marriage. Right? So, yeah. People need to stop in the chat, man. You know I'm moving bad. But yeah, no. So I think they will get back. I do feel that they will get back to, you know, to romantic ways again. And we're seeing. I think what we're witnessing is the bad parts of the relationship, and I don't like it for them, and I don't like what I see with Jada oftentimes and Will, but I think we're seeing the middle part, you know, a part of their relationship, you know, the part where if you were quiet about your relationship, you would come and tell a testimony about how for 7 years you guys were separated and nobody knew, you know what I mean? But unfortunately, they're living in the public eye, so you can't hide that. I think we'll probably see them in the next few years, them being all loved up again, once some things have got out of the system. I think they'll be back there again, personally, you know. You know. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of uploads. I'm going to get my ironing done and get stuff done. August is the one that started it, you know. It's political. But we like, share, subscribe, guys. So appreciate you lot. Stay locked, stay loaded. You know. Oh, someone said we should invite you guys for the Mineral Gang next trip. I'll do that for you guys, definitely. Let me just pipe this up. Yeah. I've got to get on. So, yeah. Roxy's in the chat. I need to holler at Roxy, actually. I need to holler at you so we can do the collab. Sorry, my bad. All right. Appreciate you guys. Still loaded. We'll see you again soon. And, you know, we're going to get it. Someone said get an agent for that. And you know what? Gonna have to be. I'm not flying till tomorrow, guys, okay? I've probably got one more live to do before I go anyway.